The only man sans Kevlar in this round is Exist with a Molotov and a double flash. I'm very curious as to where that Molotov might end up, especially as we've got 4 players heading towards the ramp at present. Exist with a pop flash. Nice. That's going to force Taz away from the initial engagement. The Molotov, interesting. So that's going to break the vent open. Maybe it was just to force somebody away from close. I don't know. I don't know. Let me know what you think the idea behind that Molotov was. Anyway, we've got Freiburg trying to flank up the Hell position, but all the frags are going the way of the T's. They retain the high ground on A. And we spoke about the corners. Each corner of the bridge is a pretty strong position for the CTs to hold. That'll come more into play on the buy rounds. But it remains to be seen what the plan was there from NiP. Push the player, I suppose it was push the player off the ramp, try to engage a rotation, or bait a rotation towards B. And the Molotov might suggest that, as well as clear somebody who's near Squeaky, but pistols are pistols, and headshots will be delivered by Virtus Pro. A Virtus Pro who pick up 2 M4s in the second round. We have many deagling player here for the Ninjas in Pyjamas. Snack's trying to cover all his bases, but again, he's not closing a distance. Not many helmets on the Swedish side. And NiP side, who have been in turmoil recently, unable to qualify for the minor. Perhaps at their lowest low. See what comes of this Swedish team once all their matches are out of the way. Who knows what happens before or after the major, if anything, for NiP. Draken, the newest signing of the side, has had quite the impact, but still not enough to allow NiP to enjoy some success. And maybe the time off during the major will allow them to reinvent themselves, or maybe roster changes will come. We can only wait and see. Have been rumors of a Swedish shuffle. Curious to know what you guys think at home. Do you think the NiP team will use the downtime to take a new approach to the game with their existing players, or if some people will go their separate ways? Or if you think we'll have the triumphant return of Fifth Laren. Who knows? Outside chance. I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I wouldn't put my money on that, to be honest. I know he's enjoying the retired life. Glock train will be denied by Molotov. So, can we see the scoreboard briefly? So we can see there's only 2 kills here for the NiP side. Thank you, Senor Connor. So that's pretty good for Virtus Pro going into the buy round. They will have more money than they might. But now we'll see what the NiP will have up their sleeve. Phases nuke on their T side. We saw them moving very quickly into secret, but again, their T side was difficult, but not as difficult as the Astralis T side in the grand scheme of things. So indeed, it's the wall of smoke from NiP. This is somewhat expected. Snacks has been taken down towards the main position, I think, very early on by Get Right to really continue into the A bomb site. Again, it is high risk because of those bridge positions, which he's carefully checking, but he's going to catch Virtus Pro completely off guard. There's nobody here on the A bomb site, but the rotation continues from NiP towards B, and surely Get Right's going to pull rotation. So maybe the remainder of NiP continue towards B, expecting the rotation A. But there's no more engagements just yet for Get Right. The CT's getting into position. You see they've got the high ground once again towards Heaven. Barley trying to figure out what's going on, and Draken's waiting for him. So really, Virtus Pro, it's going to be hard for them to identify which way the bomb is headed. Taz taken down on the high ground, leaving Pasha alone in the B bomb site. But indeed, the bomb has rotated to A.
So Pasha, he can maybe save some money. Nades, kits, Kevlar, helmets. It's all lovely to save. and bring into the next round to make sure that they don't spend nearly as much money, because that is quite a buy that he has right there. But he is being hunted. You can see the slow movement of the T's, of those kind of gold, orangey dots on the map, slowly converging on Pasha's position. Ooh, out of bullets. There goes one of the nades, back to the USP. There is 2 players there now though, and a third soon to arrive. He's going to run out of bullets here, and that's going to be that for Pasha, unfortunately for him.
Do you think it's fair to describe the color as marmalade? Because then they could be the marmalade man then.
I guess you could, yeah. That's gold, isn't it? It's gold, right?
It's like a...
I said it's gold.
It's somewhere between... It's almost brass.
Yellowy gold.
Like a brass color.
Yeah.
You a fan of brass? Is brass big on your
which
list?
kind of brass?
I don't know, brass bands, brass...
The brass?
Brass metals.
The brass. That's what they call the police, right? The brass?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. I like
So they do.
Law and Order. Law and Order. Speaking of Law and Order, we have the T's roaming onto the A site, trying to invoke some order by removing the CTs and making it a terrorist run world here in the A bomb site at the very least. And it's only Draken left after all said and done. The trade's going the way of Virtus Pro. Snacks with a very long range shot there from Garage, able to get the job done. And that's going to be a hard reset for NiP after just winning a round. And I mean, at the very least, they did win the round with most of their players surviving, which does allow them a bye here. But as you can see, Draken, Glass Cannon, Forest can't really get more than the Kevlar and Deagle. And you can see the Tech 9 for Freiburg as well. So it's a bit of a desperation force up here from NiP, but it does look respectable. There's rounds you can tailor to a buy like this, and we'll see whether or not they can find success in doing so. As Gerrit goes very fast into main here, or no, actually down into the vents. And I wonder if he's going to be able to catch someone off by surprise. They should realize that it's a possibility, and they should call that one could have slipped down the vent position, and he's just going to sit in control room. It's very early in the round. That's very smart. And it does feel as though Taz realizes that this is a possibility. So this gets quite weird for VP. The positioning here from NiP is great.
NiP, they don't have the smokes though to send more people towards the secret position. And again, Gerrit's in a strong position, but he could really do with a second player to go on a little adventure. So you see it's the gauntlet run. Fortunately for NiP, Pasha's on the low ground, so he can't see it. Only Draken taken down on the outside, but surely Snacks will hear the movement. Gerrit's made his way into a deeper position on the B bomb site, but Taz still got an angle for some harassment towards the ramp. But it seems the site will be given up for now. Great one tap from Forest. Unfortunately for him, there's no gun falling down the vent, and it would be a gamble too far for him to go up to try and collect it. Who knows what is around the corner. 2 CTs on the ramp, and it might be a pincer retake. I think a third player is joining them, and you've got Neo making his way down, but Pasha's going to shoot Neo. That's awkward. Snacks and Pasha remain now versus 3, but only Exist has a rifle at this point, and they've given it up. They have given it up. Maybe some miscommunication from the VP side. Either way, but ninjas in pajamas will collect some more rifles and take another round.
Oh, so say that's a great idea by Freiburg, but so Pasha was expecting something like that. And we'll see whether or not NiP can hold on to this, because VP, they save some guns, they're going to force up with this and try to win the round. And there's all kinds of shenanigans we could see from them as a response to what has just happened and their situation on the buy now. Like, they may decide to get aggressive towards lobby, they may decide to get aggressive towards outside. NiP are likely going to expect this. Gerrit has a P90, so there's a lot for Gerrit to do with his P90. He might just try to go out of the squeaky area again, or you can see actually going towards radio room instead, towards ramp, seeing if he can catch a quick push, which is what he's expecting. But the rest of the team will move towards the outside and try to use the range advantage of their weapons. Just clearing out positions slowly but surely. They'll have the ability to push into that upper site fairly soon, should they want to actually pincer in from the hut position and squeaky as well. It's a nice entry there from Freiburg. One more player spotted in Neo. He's going to change his position. Really smart stuff from Neo there. Picking up the UMP as well. Snacks able to take down Forest outside. Almost another one for Snacks as well. Taking the 1v1s as he can. But there's Gerrit finally emerging with the P90, causing problems. Pasha's yet to really find action with his AWP. Might be slightly too slow for this. Just slipping away there, that T in A main. It's going to be Draken out there, but still Pasha might be able to get it done. Gets the drop onto Draken. Will he switch out for the AK? Keeps the orb, whisks the shot though. Still has Taz close range with the CZ to help him out. This is looking great now for the CTs here. Virtus Pro could steal this one away, and they will, with 2 players left alive.
You wonder if NiP will force back in response. Teams trading rounds for a while now. And indeed, I think there's a reasonable chance, especially with Virtus Pro only having 2 players surviving in that round. But it would probably have to be a fast Tech 9 play were they to do that, NiP. I suppose UMPs could be collected as well. They could try a fast play into A, but also through B at the close quarters. But they've got a reasonable amount of rifles, so maybe the rush would be required after all. Neo could be in for a nasty surprise. He's picked himself up an MP9. So maybe he's expecting a weaker buy. At least he's got the movement accuracy versus the Tech 9s to fight them in an even field. Despite the Molotov, Get Right and Co will make their way down to the B area. Get Right with the wide peak, because this will trade. That's another rifle collected. Pasha had fish in a barrel, only good for the 1 though. So 3-on-3 retake, the MP9 close range will work out for Neo, and he gets himself a nice upgrade.
Yeah, the AK picked up, that's really big there, as he's causing problems then. They can't quite seem to make their way onto the bomb site, as that's everybody finished off in the end. 6-2, as Virtus Pro, once again, good for the reset onto NiP. Sorry state of affairs for them. And with a situation like this, VP could very well get to 10 rounds without too much trouble down the road. But we'll have to see how the road actually looks. Perhaps they're traveling, doing safari, James. They're in a pickup truck and there's lines everywhere. We'll have to see. Have you ever done safari? Had like monkeys climbing over the car and stuff?
No.
Trying to get in.
I have not done safari. One day, when I get bored of the sea, perhaps I'll go to Longleat.
That's where I went. Yeah. It's in.
Did you get on with the monkeys?
In Dorset. Sorry?
Did you get on with the monkeys? Did you engage the monkeys then?
No. No, not really. Didn't really have much in common. So.
No monkey engagement.
No monkey engagement.
How unfortunate.
So you do your thing, and
I'll do mine.
I'll make my way quickly out of your territory.
Well, NiP have enough for the 5 AKs and the odd grenade. Get Right will sacrifice the AK to get a few more grenades. Be the one man with the UMP for this round. Again, UMP recently having a tweak to reduce the damage at distance. We'll see how it plays out long term. That money bonus is still quite significant with that gun. Still hugely popular. It's made marginal to no difference as yet.
By the way, one thing that I like as a small touch is Get Right is blowing open the door every single round. And what that does, well, nice tap from Draken outside, but what that does is it forces the CTs to use a lot of utility, because the threat of a door rush is quite huge, but also just having it open and having an option for the Ts to get information and to maybe get a kill. CTs just want to smoke it, they want to Molotov it. So it's a very effective way to get rid of CT utility. But after all that has been said, we have, some frags coming back from Virtus Pro, trading quite well. But nice positioning from NiP. They get another frag in main to even things up.
And Draken's got the high ground. He is in heaven. That said, there's a CT on the roof, but, I mean, the rafters position from Draken is going to be far more important. And if he gets himself, I mean, he'll have to be afraid. Well, so if they can take snacks down, there we go. They will worry less about the hell position. And Draken, if he gets over towards the bridge, he's pretty much in the strongest position in A. So it's going to be a difficult task for Virtus Pro to retake. They're a man down as well. Taz in the vent, Neo towards main, exists waiting for him, but he's not going to win the duel. So can Taz pick the right time to pop out of the vent, maybe in combination with this flashbang? Indeed, that's exactly what it is. Quickly checking his 6. He'll make his way into the hut. Again, Draken's position, I think he might have spotted it, trying to use the cover to take Freiberg down. However, that won't work out for him. Neo with an easy flank on Draken, but Freiberg will shoot him between the silos, or reactors rather, for a third round for NiP.
Yeah, it's a good round from Freiberg getting the quad kill there, and also, props to Draken on that entry frag towards the secret position. And that's one of the interesting things. Again, the There's a lot of value for the CTs to have full information on secret and to have a player on the stairs who can essentially keep the Ts honest if they're trying to push in outside or push outside and try to go into hell, try to go into a main, then that CT can have a fast flank and cause problems. And as we know, if you're able to, as the Ts smoke off or do the wall of smokes and the CTs don't have information there, the CTs kind of have to rotate a man away from the main defense down lower. And it might just be that no one goes there, so then your defense is weaker, and then comes the push to ramp, then comes the push to upper, and you're less able to defend it. So it's like a very interesting dynamic that you have there, but the CTs do feel compelled to, a lot of the time, have a player there, but not always. And this is one of those rounds where they don't have a player there, and instead they have more presence outside. Do they rotate someone down now? Or how do they read this situation? Indeed they do.
NiP creeping in secret once more. We've seen the stalling smokes from the CTs in the position where the Ts are right now kind of fall out of favor. Shox was the most notorious user of it. So he's changing his approach as well. Barley trying to get through the doors, but he's unable to do so. And the doors have been blown off, which will make things better for NiP post-plant since they have control of control room. The CTs towards the ramp, Taz making it through, but he's going to be very exposed now. Only good for the 1 kill. And that's going to make life really hard for the CTs, one of which has a Mag 7, and that's even more difficult. Get right, abusing the hole in the door to get the 2 of the 3 frags required for NiP to win by elimination. And there's some bonus money for the planter as well, 4-7. Money broken for Virtus Pro.
Yeah, it's a great comeback from NiP. They could have been in loads of trouble, but now they've got a great chance to bring themselves into a respectable scoreline. And again, I would expect that NiP's CT side would be quite strong too. So VP have to be really cautious now, because I think that NiP, if they're getting to that, let's say 6 to 8 round range, that's I feel like they are favorite to win the nuke. But we'll see. Taz open things up. He will be able to steal away an AK, or his teammate will be able to. And that's a nice situation. Oh, it's actually a Mac 10. Okay, so that's smart by NiP. Sending Draken out there with the Mac 10. I missed that. And get some info for the team at a very slim cost.
Should have sent him with a Bison. Make it even worse.
But it's more expensive.
That's true. But the damage to his team potential is lower. Potato gun is the Bison. Probably the best gun to lose.
Yeah, it does absolutely nothing against armored opponents.
Can't think of a worse buy in that kind of scenario. Virtus Pro haven't lost a player yet. And again, things can change very quickly in terms of frags and so on.
Tagging, look at the dinks.
Yeah, because, oh, okay, there are 2 plays left, because I'm thinking there's a time problem now for the NiP side, especially when they are on a 2 versus 4. That's a long spray from Forrest. He's got 7 bullets left. And he's the last man standing. How does he get the bomb down? He really needs more eliminations. That's a great one onto Neo. Blowing the door off. So smart from Forrest. And he's trying to bait the CTs from repositioning at the same time. Snacks popping out around the corner. 15 seconds to plant the bomb or find Pasha. And I think he might have to do the latter, because the former is going to prove too difficult, surely. He must go for the fake. Pasha facing. And that's a round stolen away from Virtus Pro. That was almost a USP round.
I think it may have been Taz. I'm not sure which player it was with the CZ. That was by the decontamination room on the stairs. He got, I think, 3 dinks with the CZ, I think, before dying. And that's what allowed VP to be able to win that. And having so many weak players, the Mac 10 stolen away actually becoming useful because of that crazy situation. And NiP too slow through those positions.
That's why Bison theory is going to come out. we were prophesized this. We need Bisons, chaps. We need Bisons.
I don't know, man. I lost faith in all the prophecies when Threat tried to sell me the Krieg. Said the Krieg would be the next big thing a couple of years ago. But this is interesting now, because we get the force buy from NiP, right? They're actually on a good buy, pretty much. I mean, they're not the best utility, but they have an AWP. Forrest even has Kevlar and helmet with the AWP. And they have 2 AKs, Deagle, all armors and so on, and some utility. So VP losing already the first player to get right. And look at his position too. NiP are in a great spot here to stabilize. How does he? Man, this is a really great position.
I wonder if he goes to CT spawn. Because he can't go up the ladder. Especially with only 2 AKs on the T side. It's such a risk at this point.
It'd be so great if there was utility for him to use in this situation, but there's not, and his teammates don't have any to use for him either. And so that position kind of goes to waste in some respect, only serving as a distraction. And it may be enough, as it's just Taz left again in 1 versus 2. Close to the bomb plant too, so he's got time to play with. Oh dear.
Well, NiP, they take the round regardless. Yeah, it's an awkward spot, and there was time for NiP to go to CT, but they chose a different path. And indeed, it is the reset from Virtus Pro. The notorious 1 AWP, not much else by from Virtus Pro. First saw this oh so long ago on Cash. I wish I remembered the round or the game to bring it back up again. They were on the T side. They had an AWP on Pasha, and that was it. And they won the round. It was pretty mental stuff. This time they're on the CT side, but it's Forest off to a good start. Quickly extinguished by Snacks in his 5-7.
MVP are dangerous with anything, as we have learned in recent rounds. NiP making noise outside. Pasha looking for that first shot, and there it is. ECS will give it to him. And that's some information too, as we saw that ECS was actually trying to drop down into, I think, main, potentially. And that's how he was caught by Pasha. That's a bomb down outside as well. Not sure if Pasha has seen that, but do they try to just best Pasha here? He's repositioned, looking to take He's got some great angles here to play with. Of course, he has that ladder right up there. And oh, there's the peak, the second, that re-peak from Freiburg against Pasha. That's not going to happen. And this is the situation too. You have NiP in a spot where they're 3 versus 4. They have the weapon advantage and grenades and utility, and they're re-peaking Pasha in these like 1v1 scenarios. That's the only way you lose this round. Or one of the, okay, that's the most obvious way you lose this round, let's say.
The difficult thing though is in a scenario like this, where you've got a force buy with the AWP, you'd often expect the AWP to rotate position after getting 1 kill to keep you surprised, but instead Pasha plays against that by essentially staying in the same position, just slightly edited, which makes it really awkward for NiP. Snacks charging through with the 5-7 as the bomb drops, and again another force by 1. These teams continue to trade rounds as we move into the last round of the first half, and that's NiP with a difficult money situation. But I mean, there's a chance for a 6-9. We saw that 10-5 half wasn't enough for Astralis to take it over phase, so this might be a reasonable score for NiP.
Yeah, and every time they've had their force buys, because of bomb plants and whatnot, they've actually had, and you know, money previously saved, they actually have had like stuff to work with. This is one of the weaker buys that we've seen from NiP, and Virtus Pro looking fairly confident going into this with what they have. It's all about how well they play it out though. And with Snacks onto the AWP this time instead of Pasha. I think Snacks is in garage at the moment, or just behind it. And this is a very fast push on the upper side from NiP, looking to just go in. Pasha's going to emerge with the Mag 7. Easy frag for him as he now tries to pursue one of the last 2 remaining players, just harassing, just tickling, until finally Draken has had enough. And that's going to be a 1 versus 1 all of a sudden. Good trading coming in from NiP. Get right with the strong chance to win this with the Galil, but no. The CZ of Taz will take the 10th round for VP. And that's a very important round, a much needed round. I think NiP, as you said, I think 5 rounds is enough for them, moving on the CT side.
As long as they win the pistol, that's for sure.
That's a very good point, yeah. Does get a bit hairy otherwise. A bit hairy. And there's no wax available for hair removal. I do wonder where that phrase came from as well. Gets a bit hairy. Guess it's a bit more intuitive.
I guess it's a way to describe, you know, an
messy.
undesirable situation.
Yeah, or it's like messy, unpredictable.
If you don't desire hair.
I guess like hair obscures things. It's unclear. It's
well, let's just leave it there.
all over the place. We'll see if things are all over the place here for NiP on the defense as Virtus Pro charge into the lower site. They allow free passage, but the cost for Virtus Pro is a 5-man coordinated retake.
On the smoke grenade, literally on top of it, the bomb will be planted. Well then, 10 players alive as the bomb is planted. You don't see that very often. Freiburg getting things going, getting the ball rolling, or the boulder. See if Virtus Pro can avoid the boulder Indiana Jones style. Neo in the hazmat area. Suiting up Draken, but into a body bag rather than a hazmat. We've got a ninja defuse coming in, which has been cancelled out. The defuse kit has been dropped, but the numbers game is too great, and surely someone can find that. Forrest, tell me Forrest is on it. Okay, good. He has to be in order for NiP to win that pistol round, because he's got the kit, and indeed they do. So that was a crucial round they need to win. I mean, we saw a lot of Force Buys won in the previous half, so Virtus Pro can still be dangerous. We actually saw, I think it was yesterday, a team plant the bomb and then force in the next round. Or was it FaZe earlier on train?
Today we saw it as well, but it wasn't like a buy like this, because this is the more interesting buy, right? Because it's not really a full force buy. It's one player picks up an AK, and okay, I guess Bialy should probably get it. He's got the Kevlar as well. And you can see, oh, actually, Snacks buys up Kevlar. Okay, Pash is also dying. Okay, so it's a bit interesting. So because there's a way that you can do it where you actually leave money for the next round. But what they've done now, it seems like they've actually decided to go for the full force, basically, except for Taz, who just has, I don't know if Chaz dropped something. Maybe he dropped the AK.
He could have dropped the AK.
You look at the money real quick. No, okay, so Taz has some money. So I like it more. I think Gambit did it quite a bit, where you have like the one AK and maybe like a supporting player with Kevlar and some nades as well. And then you kind of just like, you just try to pressure, basically, put the AK in the best position to get 1v1s and pick up that AK. So the AK is lost now. It's in a high position as well, so it's very exposed. So that's a problem, I think. Because you want to get max value. If in fact Pash has managed to pick it up. So see if he can do something with it. Boom, there it is. 2 kills have come from VP here. If they're able to find their way into a plant, that'd be fantastic from this position as well, but looks like they won't. I feel like there's been some miscommunication from VP in this round, potentially. Which is always possible. Again, this is something Yanko was alluding to. He said that sometimes VP in the online matches are a little less together, essentially, because their focus isn't like razor focus as you see it if they're playing a stage match. And that might be a situation where a couple players like actually want to run this strat, and then you got another couple players like, oh well, screw it, I want to buy as well. Then I want to get in, I want to have some fun too. But they will get shut down by NiP, unfortunately for them. Did look a bit uncoordinated in the end.
Bialy jumping on the poles reminds me of old Nuke in CT Spawn. You could jump on the tank and jump off the tank onto a cone, then onto another cone, and you could just jump in a triangle. That's what I used to do. That's how I spent my time. 1.6, you'd be dead and you'd be flying around a map without touching any objects. And now I just jump around in Spawn. You can still jump around in CT Spawn, but it's not as interesting as it was previously, which still wasn't that interesting for most people, but I suppose if you're a nerd, you're a nerd. Patient tapping from Draken, gets there eventually. 8 HP though, I do wonder if he'll be a target. But again, at this point, Pasha will need to communicate to his teammates that he fired a headshot. So with a Glock, I think it was a Glock he had. I'll assume it's a Glock. That doesn't mean much if you headshot someone.
Yeah.
From far range, you need at least 3 headshots with a Glock to kill someone.
I'd imagine Draken at this point as well would just basically like actually act as though he's on the bench in this round and just you get tagged down to 8 HP, just hide in a corner somewhere, just let your teammates deal with it. Although actually he was still peeking, but whatever. We have VP after conceding the pistol, going for the force buy and then saving. Now onto a buy round with NiP only 2 to the deficit as they face against Snacks' AWP and the AK, or the 4 AKs. Oh, missing the jump there.
That's a bad miss.
Let's see if Snacks can pick up a frag. So he looks for the first engagements. Nobody to show themselves from NiP just yet, though. As Draken might be the first one as he comes up the stairs. We talked about this dynamic. And surely VP are looking for that player. And there's a Molotov there defensively to cover them, which that Molotov means they want to take position, forward positioning, because that covers them for only a certain amount of time. It gets re-Molotoved as well. And indeed, they have that forward position.
Forrest being pretty sneaky outside. Bialy's on the high ground, and it's hard to expect an angle such as that. Getting some nice places you can play around with outside, and That may have put Snacks in a position to be punished by Freiburg. Draken on the flank as well, do damage but no kill. That may open a window for Virtus Pro to split the B bomb site. We'll see what the CT reaction to this is. 2 plays in ramp, but the bomb needs to be collected by Neo. And he will be heard running by Exist, so he can let his players know and they can position accordingly. See Forrest making his way to the garage, maybe positioning for a flank towards B. You see the CTs jumping off the high ground on A as well. Freiburg spotted in the vents, but the bomb needs to go down quickly. Blind spot, but not 2 blinds. Pasha spotted in the end. 3 versus 2 as the bomb goes down.
Yeah, pretty good position from Taz, but it's fairly predictable too. And he will have to fight because there's nobody to play off of except Neo. Neo's going to take the first frag. That's really nice by Neo. The flick comes in, but he's going to miss it. Taz must win this first fight quickly. Exist if he just survives and pressures, his teammate can drop in. And that's exactly what will happen. The round will be won by NiP. And there's a quick point I want to make about the Molotov usage outside, because I think it's an interesting thing to note. So you saw that when they're trying to take out the side, they've used a double Molotov on the stairs of the secret position. And it's really important because you might think, you know, why do they spend so much utility? Why don't they just have a guy holding that position? The problem there is that if the guy dies in the 1v1, where the other guy's playing, the CT is playing a headshot angle, then you're in a spot where he could even peek out and take another player quickly by surprise, and you've lost 2 men and the round's over. So also, that player also can play down the stairs and have angles up towards the silo and so on, and get 1v1s that way. And you want your silo player to be watching towards the garage and behind the CT red container, so you don't want him to worry about that if you're actually trying to gain position in the yard. So that's why you use the Molotovs instead, because the Molotovs guarantee that you get positioning instead of thinking about getting frags, as opposed to the positioning there. So quick note there as to why they use the Molotovs.
Wow, what a grenade. 86 damage, sit down, si vous plaît. Virtus Pro, pistols, trying to stop NiP making it to double figures. NiP though, don't have much to fight against in this particular round. Neo heating up, there's a gun to be collected, and M4, and now there's damage to be done. Only 1 shot though from Bali can land onto Mr. Get Right. Bomb gets planted. That's definitely a bonus considering the little investment from Virtus Pro in this round. I'll be happy with that. Taking a play with them as well. Could have been 2. Exist with only 6 kills. That's unlike him. He's generally been fragging well since they had the initial changes with Threat becoming in-game leader. Obviously that time has come and gone.
I was going to say, that was well over a year ago, a year and a half ago.
Yeah, but I mean, he's been fragging well for, you know, he's had a significant improvement for a while.
I think the problem was when Threat stopped being the active in-game leader. I think that's what really affected Exist again. That is quite the burden, it seems, for Exist. Ooh!
Hello.
Hello there. Well, Draken gets some info there, and he's going to try to protect himself, called his teammates so they're aware that there are indeed players perhaps pushing behind the smoke. And is a rotation. In fact, there's been no rotation just yet from CTs towards Secret. And that is potentially why. Is that a miss? Is that just a lack of a smoke from VP there? It's like, it's completely just, well, there you go, Freiburg, 3 easy kills. They don't need to rotate someone down Secret. Freiburg just has a position well and truly open for him. And that one lack of smoke cost them the round, essentially.
That's an odd one.
That's really why is there just one smoke there, but that's just looks so silly.
If that was a genuine, just a lack of smoke, that's got to be
maybe a miss.
Hopefully no one's tilting.
Maybe a horrendous miss
on the comms. Some money wasted as a Galil is dropped, and that's money maybe they can't afford to waste at this point. Ninjas with 11 to the 10 of Virtus Pro. Again, we're seeing strong CT sides from Team on Nuke today. Second of 2 nukes if you were just joining us. Saw a great comeback from FaZe versus Astralis once FaZe had got to the CT side. I don't know that Astralis won any rounds on the CT side, on their T side rather. Maybe 1 or 2, but I don't think they did. Anyway, this one, there are really close duels. Freiburg with some pre-fire there, waiting for Tees to chase him, and now they're trying to buy time because Forrest is on the flank. Draken starting off well with a Tech 9 kill. He will get traded. There's still a CT crossfire here in the vents, doing some damage to each other for a 3-on-3. There's some more damage, but the bomb has gone down. Smoke kill from Freiburg, leaving 2 players here for Virtus Pro, and now it's Neo versus a trio of Swedish players. However, they are heavily tagged for the most part. Won't matter. Freiburg to finish things off 12-10.
7 rounds on the CT side in a row for NiP indeed. Another buy though for VP as they have that max loss bonus. The bomb plant means that they get 4,200 for each player. The 3,400 of the max loss bonus in addition to the 800 that they get for the bomb plants. So that's a good buy every round if you get a bomb plant every round. And NiP, they're looking great. And this is kind of what I was saying, you know, the CT side for NiP, as long as they can have a few rounds to work off of on that T side, you can see how confident they are on it. This is a great map for them. And at the moment, they're hitting their stride. VP all going down secret. Very fast pace this time around from VP. They're mixing it up a bit as far as pace is concerned. And I don't know if that player's dropping through vent was actually spotted. This looks really strong for VP right now. NiP seem to be unawares. Almost.
I'm not sure if it was audible. I heard a sound when he was going down a vent, but I'm not sure if it was the vent player or something else. Either way, Draken having a look, see what he can find, which isn't much. Looking towards control from the ramp in the meantime. The CTs making their way in, but very, very carefully. This is a difficult retake, and I wonder if the CTs will even go for it. I don't know what the money situation is for them. They have won every round on the CT half so far. Okay, they've got tons of cash, so there's definitely damage to be done, but looks like NiP will be smart about how they approach said damage. The vent seems suicide at this point, but Forrest will do a good job of containing the T's towards the bomb, and I wonder how costly this will be for the T's. Indeed, it seems all but Bayali will die. So NiP did maximum damage despite not winning the round.
So worth it, so worth it. I was going to say, I really hope they commit fully to try to get all the kills, because if they reset VP now, that's just, that is NiP in an amazing position. VP have spent everything almost. Only Taz with any money left over, and it's not really, it's negligible really. And that consistency that NiP have had so far, and it's not something you can do every time, what VP just did, which was to smoke outside, actually land all your smokes, thank God, and then just run all the way down and sneak someone into the vents as they did. That is a great position that they found themselves in, and whether it's replicable, it remains to be seen. Great flick from Draken. Starts things off well for the Swedes.
Quickly turns around though. He had Freiburg for support, and he almost had a bait situation coming in. Oh, maybe it was Forrest for support, who is still alive, and Forrest was his turn to clean up the outside after the dirt that Virtus Pro had thrown everywhere. Pasha taken out as well, leaving Taz in huts without the bomb and without a second kill. Only 2 kills in that round for Virtus Pro, so indeed the reset is there. No plant either, and just look at the money. Ninjas in pajamas on 13 rounds, and Virtus Pro are in a sticky situation.
One thing to think about too is that this, so far, has been a very fast nuke. Both teams have been playing in quite a quick manner. There's not been a lot of waiting around, generally speaking, I would say, from either team. So that's always fun to see. But VP are in a spot where they have to figure out, okay, how do we get the most buys before NiP have won the match, basically? Do they just force buy every round? Because their money's solo. Because imagine if they save once here, right? Their loss bonus is 1900. So if they would have to do like a full save here, and even then, the buy is not going to be amazing. But I think that's probably the best call, because if they lose that round, next one, at least then they'll have their loss bonus built up a little bit, and in the next round they'll have a likelihood of getting a plant. So that means the 4th round, they can actually get a very good force buy-in, I think, should they get a plant in the next couple rounds. So that's sort of the game plan, I think, for VP. They can't really consider NiP's economy whatsoever at this point. It's about getting a plant in, getting the full buy in the next round to set them up for that 3rd round like solid force buy should they lose the next round.
Glocks, as Dazed would say.
Glocks!
They'll be back here for the final days of ECS in early June.
The final Dazed.
No, Dan.
It kind of sounded like what you said, because you said Daze. And you just said
Yeah,
Daze.
you're just gonna keep going, aren't you?
So you can see here they have, like, because of the full save there, they have enough money to do something. I like that we're seeing the UMP and the Tech 9 there. I wonder if we'll get 2 AKs now to fill out, because they have enough utility between between Taz, Snacks, and Neo. So yeah, they can afford to have Passion and Bialy with no utility, basically. But now the question is, how do they get rid of some utility from NiP? Because they might want to fast play, but you can't just go for the fast play. You have to diminish the utility somewhat first. And then keeping your numbers alive whilst you do that. That is a difficult thing, because this is great here from NiP. Love this, going aggressive, already picking off a player. In fact, picking off Taz, who had the most utility, I think. So that's a really big win. Oh my, that is disgusting.
Ding dong.
That is disgusting. This is falling apart for VP. And like I said, they really need a plant. They really, really need a plant.
There are a few things more satisfying than a 2-shot burst which hits somebody in the head twice with an M4A4 as opposed to a silenced one. It's a strong match point for NiP. Again, they need to win. I think it's at least 3 of their 4 I think they need to win all their matches, and G2 need to lose all their matches in order for NiP to finish 3 points above G2. So they are still a contender for LAN. And what a story that would be.
The crazy thing is, if they had had the bomb plant, they would have had the ability to buy maybe 3 AKs, I think, and still have enough to get some decent utility here. So you can see the significant difference in that now they just, like, you know what? There's no point buying UMPs or Galils really in this situation. We'll just get max utility and get the Tech 9s instead, because that's going to have more of an effect. And they can play, again, they can play around this. And it looks like they will probably go for an upper rush, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what they're after. Only 1 player on the roof, though, for those nades. So I imagine it's a Molotov for the hut roof. They might try to smoke off main, or the heaven position, a flash and then go. Oh, there's actually 2 players up there, never mind. That's 3 players up there. It's so hard with this minimap, man. It's so difficult with the nuke minimap to know where people actually are. It's very difficult. I definitely feel bad for Sliggy, our observer. It's all on this one, and here they go.
Smoke sailing into the one pane of glass, which isn't broken. Will it still do the job, though? Will it matter? We'll soon find out. All the utility deployed, but there's still no push from Virtus Pro just yet. Exists backing off, and indeed, maybe it's distraction tactics. NiP, there's no one on the high ground anymore, and Frybeck's having to flank to stop people making it to heaven. But indeed, they're there, but it's still not going the way of the T-side necessarily. Now it's Pasha, but only for a brief second. 16 to 11. NiP have a great CT half, only dropping 1.